Should he stay or should he go? Erling Haaland, the 20-year-old Norwegian superstar center forward, has been linked with a number of moves away from Borussia Dortmund this summer, and we're going to go ahead and weigh the pros and cons of each move. Before we get started, make sure that you subscribe to Down the Block Sports, hit that notification bell so you never miss an exclusive video ever again. And why don't you leave a comment below, tell me where you think Erling Haaland will end up this summer. This is a special edition of The High Press with Conor Robinson. Hey everyone, this is Conor with The High Press coming at you with another video. Today we're talking about Erling Haaland, as you got from the intro. Massive center forward, obviously one of the future stars coming into the game, winner of the 2020 Golden Boy Award, which is given to the best under 23 player, I should say player who's under the age of 23 in Europe. So a massive potential here. We're going to kind of look at a few locations of where I think he's going to end up. He's had an incredible season so far, and honestly, since his rise into senior football when he was at Salzburg. So right now, I'll just kind of go over some stats to preface this whole video before we kind of go into where I think he's going to end up with Erling Haaland. 21 goals, 4 assists, and 21 Bundesliga appearances. I believe he's second in scoring behind Robert Lewandowski, which there's a video that I did on Lewandowski and whether or not he would break a 50-year record set by Gerd Müller back in the, I think it's 71-72 season, and he scored 40 goals. Lewandowski is pretty close to that, and there's still a few games left to play. So I do think he'll break that. Make sure you check that video out as well. In addition to those Bundesliga goals and appearances, 10 goals, 1 assist, and 6 Champions League appearances. This includes netting 4 against Sevilla in the round of 16. Massive. For a player of his size, he's 6'4", very quick, very, very clinical. He can feed off of scraps and still get goals. I've seen games where he's had 5-6 touches after coming on in like the 75th minute, and he's just kind of invisible, and then he'll score a goal or two, and he can change a tie completely. To score 4 goals against Sevilla, they're not the best team in the Champions League. They're more of a Europa League team. As the past decade of kind of dominance, they have 4 or 5 Europa League trophies in that time frame. But to score 4 past a team in the knockout stage is pretty incredible. So he's facing Manchester City next with Dortmund. And I do think it'll be an interesting tie for sure. And in addition to all these goals, he does have 1 goal, 1 assist, and 3 DFB Pokal appearances. So not clinical in that competition. But then again, he's also 20 years old, so you can kind of let that slide. Like I said, he's the winner of the 2020 Golden Boy Award, which is for the best player who's under the age of 23 in football in Europe. And huge. He is absolutely monstrous. He's got incredible pace for his size. He's 6'4". He's not even good at heading yet, which is so crazy to think about considering most of his goals, the vast majority, I believe, come from that left peg. So now that we've kind of prefaced that sort of player and you know what he is, I mean, watch some of his highlights. He's unbelievable. There are 3 destinations I think he'll end up. Actually, I should say there's going to be 4. First, this summer, I think he stays at Dortmund. It makes no sense for Dortmund to let him go now, especially since it's a pandemic year. There is a release clause that kicks in next summer of only 60-something million pounds, which, yes, it's a loss, but with Jadon Sancho probably going to leave this summer for Manchester United, they'll be able to get a good amount of money back for that signing. So I do think they'll let Jadon Sancho go this summer, and then they're not going to let Haaland go until next summer. They'll say, well, we could probably get 150 million pounds for the 2 of them, which is really good considering they got like 108 million euros for Ousmane Dembele a few years ago. So when Ousmane Dembele moved to Barcelona, but I do think that they're going to look at it and say, well, we could keep Haaland another summer, let Jude Bellingham kind of come into his own. They have Gio Reyna as well. They have a good young side. It's just the management isn't the best, and I think Marco Rose has taken over. So Hopefully he can get things turned around with them. I do think Haaland, primarily, I do think he will stay this summer. I don't see Dortmund cashing in on him and Sancho, but I do think he's probably it's most likely that he stays this summer, proves that he can become one of the best center forwards in a major league, considering he's only been at Dortmund for a season and a half now. I think he does need another season for big clubs to really be like, okay, this kid is the real deal. He reminds me a lot of like a young Zlatan. I don't know where he's going to go specifically. I'm not a fortune teller, but my money is on he stays this summer. The next likely destination, which I think is the summer afterwards, I do think it could be Manchester City. His father played there. I think if City win the Champions League this season, I do think Pep is going to leave. I think he's going to go back to Barcelona and kind of have a little fairy tale ending there to have Messi, kind of get that last ride before he leaves Barca. I don't think he's out this summer. If he would have left, he would have left by now, in my opinion. But that's another video I could do another time. Manchester City, I think, they would rather roll the dice and say, okay, Erling Haaland could leave for £60 million next summer. We don't think anyone in this COVID economy is going to buy him at 120 million this summer, and nor will Dortmund let him go. So I think City roll the dice and they wait until they activate that release clause next summer. It just makes sense. City are smart with their business. And, if Pep's out of the way, Pep isn't a manager that likes big personalities. He's more about the team and the system. So that makes sense as well. I don't see him going to the other side of Manchester, to be 100% honest. I just think that would be too much in terms of personality, although Mino Raiola is his agent. So I'll give that as an honorable mention before I move to my third destination, which would be Real Madrid. I do think Real Madrid like a big personality. They've been lacking since Ronaldo left, although there's reports from Spain saying that Ronaldo is on his way back from Juve after that project has failed. I don't know if maybe they bring both of them in and say, well, Ronaldo is one of the best finishers of all time. Let's get him to train up Haaland so that when Benzema leaves, Haaland is going to be that guy. And then Ronaldo can play kind of off of him or whatever and have more freedom that way. Real Madrid love big personalities. They love to spend money. They spent all that money on Hazard. It didn't work out. Maybe they send Hazard the other way or Benzema or something, but to sweeten the deal. But I do think that Real Madrid could look at it and say, well, if Harry Kane moves, there's a lot of moving parts this summer. I do think there's a lot of interesting things, and I can go over all that in a different video. But I think Real Madrid are probably more likely to sign him. It would be City, Real Madrid, clubs of that ilk. I don't think PSG are going to make a move considering they have Mbappe. And the last club that I would say that has a real good shot of signing him is going to be Bayern Munich. I think they look at it and say, well, he's obviously our next Lewandowski. Let's go ahead and get him off Dortmund's hands next summer for $60 million, and we'll keep him here for 5-10 years. He'll get a ton of records broken. He'll become, if he moves to Bayern Munich next summer and stays there the rest of his career, which I don't see him doing, he could break all the Bundesliga scoring records, in my opinion. If he was solely focused on that and said, I'm going to move to Dortmund or Bayern Munich at 21 or 20 or 21, and I'm going to play there for 10, 15 years and get all the scoring records, I do think he could break every record in the books for the Bundesliga. I don't see him doing that. I think he's going to go to England. He was born in England. Yes, he represents Norway, but he is 100% going to England, in my opinion. I think whether it be City, whether it be Chelsea, I think are another honorable mention. I think Manchester United, they love big players, but Chelsea, again, they might look at it and say, we could just send Timo Werner back to Germany. And, that would be our make weight. We would say, okay, we're not going to wait till next summer for the release clause. We'll give you Timo Werner plus cash. Timo Werner is still very young himself. So Chelsea might look at that and say, we have the assets to get this deal over the line. let's go ahead and send Timo Werner back for Erling Haaland, and we'll send some cash as well. So I think primarily City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, those are the three teams I would say. Chelsea, I think, are an honorable mention. And with that being said, make sure that you subscribe to Down the Block Sports so you never miss out on any of our exclusive content ever again. It's not just my content. Make sure you check out the Alec Walt Show. He's got a lot of great interviews. He just had one with Derek Van Riper that dropped yesterday on the 24th of March. To give you context, I guess. But yeah, huge. Make sure you leave a comment below. Tell me where you think Erling Haaland is going to go. And of course, thanks for tuning in to the High Press. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your